You got everything.
I only have one.
Who's got it? Oh, yeah, the second one. Serafini. He's right here.
The house and make it lot.
Pardon?
There's a house and then there's a vacant lot.
He's arguing a vacant lot.
That trees, yeah.
Oh,
He built the house in '78.
That doesn't sound good.
No. You get their client there? For this new person?
yeah, you got the number?
Just tell,
518?
271-0821.
Red line, I think it's really wrong.
Well, I think if you do, they'll call, tell you like the last person.
He's got this one done already.
You spelled that right?
He's got it in here on the assessment on it.
So what are his numbers?
He says value of the property is 264.
Hello?
Hi, this is Tony Serafini.
Hi, Ms. Serafini. This is Tom from our Board of Assessment Review.
Okay, great. Thank you for calling. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We tried to get through on the conference call line, but for some reason.
I was on hold. It took a wait to be connected. I was on hold for a while.
Well, we didn't even get through, so we decided to call you directly
Okay,
to help
thank you.
expedite matters here. I'm going to turn you over to our chairman,
Okay,
and he's going to swear you in.
thank you.
You're
Hi,
welcome.
Ms. Serafini, Dan Kagan here. I'm just going to read you the oath of office and,
Out of office.
oath of office.
Congratulations.
Swearing in.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
I want to go back to normal.
We all do.
We need to see people.
Okay, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, fine. Tell us what you're looking for here.
What number?
I haven't, my dad passed away a couple years ago and he was really handling all of his property and I never really paid attention to his taxes until recently. And so I was reviewing them and they just seemed very high to me. So I started to look into why that would be. And then I used the ImageMate online to get comps of, neighboring properties or, ones that were as close as possible to my parents. And which one would you like to start with? The house or the one?
Now, let's start with the house first.
Okay. So my dad built this house, I guess 1978, and it hasn't changed. Dated, my mom's still living in it. So what I found was looking, the comps are difficult. So the most close comps are the ones that I presented to you, the four or the three. I don't have the address. I just got their, looks like the owner's name. Do you have that sheet that I sent over?
Yes, we do.
Yep, we have a map.
Right, so it just seems like, the homes that are, significantly newer, much larger square footage, a little bit more land, or in this case, Mr. Black's property is double, almost 37% more square footage and twice the acreage. Per square foot, it's a significant difference, in the assessment.
So,
And I found the same with, variety of properties. It just seems like the houses that are much larger, much newer condition, are getting a lower assessment per square footage when I calculate, when I do the calculation.
so Mrs. Serafini, we only have one copy of the paperwork, so we can't all see the numbers at the same time. So if you're okay with it, I'm just gonna read some of these numbers out so that everyone in the room is aware.
Okay,
She is currently assessed at $140,256. No, I'm sorry. Nope, that's what she wants. She wants to be assessed at $140,256. She believes her fair market value is $264,000. $64,000. The current assessment, I do not see on this piece of paper.
153,700.
The current assessment that you have for 2019 is at 153,700.
And that works out to a full market value of $307,000. So the town thinks the fair market assessment is $307,000. You think the full market is more like $264, correct?
Yes, I mean, like I said, personally, I think it's a lot less, but as far as my calculations go, doing the difference between the other houses coming out to about $70 a square foot.
So you
And
have,
ours at 78. I just took that $6 difference in the square footage.
so you have four comparable houses are at, I'm trying to find the addresses. Where are the addresses?
I got the tax ID numbers.
Yeah, I got tax ID numbers and names. I unfortunately don't have addresses.
Yeah, that's the sheet I have.
So I'm not sure where these comparable houses are, but, she's saying hers is at 70, just shy of $79 a square foot. The one she's comparing to are at $72 a square foot, $72 a square foot, and $84 a square foot.
How big a house is this?
Our house,
Uh-huh.
it's 1,978 square feet, where, the houses that are assessed less per square footage are, 2,700 square feet, 2,800 square feet. So it just seems like the smaller houses are assessed at a higher square footage than the large houses that are, newer, with more land, more bathrooms.
Yeah. So how did you decide on these comparables?
I went with my bedrooms, because the bedrooms and some of them had, not full basements, so, and the number of bathrooms.
Are these on the same street as your house?
No, they're in the vicinity.
Okay. Because, I mean, the first one you're comparing to has double the acres and an extra 700 square feet and was built 25 years later.
Right, and per square footage, it's only assessed at 192,800. It's assessed at 72 square foot compared to ours, which is significantly smaller. 4-bedroom. Actually, that one has 2 bathrooms. Ours has 1.5. Full basement. So that's why I'm not understanding, the calculation.
Right, I mean, on paper, that house would appear to
Like
be
the land,
nicer.
even though the land on this Mr. Black, he's got more land, the land is assessed practically the same. So, per acre, my mother's house is assessed at like 29,000 per acre, whereas Mr. Black's is assessed at 14,000 per acre. So I'm finding that like across the board. So I could have pulled up, 10 other examples.
Yeah. It's sometimes harder to look at houses that aren't similar though, because
Well, there
there's
aren't
certain
many.
costs with running sewer and plumbing and dividing the land and whatnot. So it's hard to,
Right.
the
so
costs
these are
don't
the
always
closest.
distribute evenly over the square footage.
Right, so these were the closest, but, you could agree that doesn't make sense. I should have seen, that the square footage would have come in about the same. The assessment per square footage.
So are you saying this is a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath home?
Right, 1978, original, nothing updated.
Is it a ranch, a 2-story?
No, it's a 2-story. Colonial. I went with the type of house. Colonial was the other comp I searched for. So, do you have the pictures there in front of you, the other homes? So you could,
I do.
I don't, so there's.
Hold on, let me walk around the room.
Thank you.
We're all separated, socially separated here.
well,
So we have to walk around the room to spread the piece of
It's the
paper.
exercise program.
yeah, so so I tend to find that, and I really found that discrepancy pretty much across the board, and, in the 20 or so that came up.
I mean, based on the I know everyone can't see the information Marlies is looking at, but based on that information, it is questionable. But there's not quite enough information there to,
Yeah, it's hard, there's not a lot of
there's not much
information.
information there to go
Right,
on.
exactly right.
Well, the calculations are pretty obvious.
There's just not enough, we don't know enough about those other houses, what's inside those houses, what the sale history of those houses were, and so
But
forth.
what does that have to do with the comps that the computer generated these comps? Your ImageMate generated these comps.
Yeah,
So you can see that, I'll use Mr. Black's house, 37% more square footage, another acre and a half, 2005, pretty new home, 2 bedrooms, two and a half, an extra full bathroom, and yet the square footage is only $72, almost $6 per square foot less assessment.
Walking away. I'm gonna,
Do you have other comparables that?
I'm gonna tell you, let our assessor explain how he came up with it, so we can discuss that with you. So hang on a second while our assessor.
Most of the homes on our street are very different. A lot of them were, brand new, contemporaries, ranches, split levels. So these were the closest ones that came up.
Sorry, we're moving papers around.
Let's hear from Walt, see how, he'll explain how he came up with the assessment, so you'll know where he's coming from too as well.
The one at the very end, that's close, really the closest in square footage, Danielle Wolf's house, that's 1,640 square feet with the closest, still more acreage, but built around the same time, 1978 Colonial, with a 1 less bathroom, or 1 less bedroom, is assessed at only 138, 20,000 less. And that's the, closest in age and obviously style.
Walt, can you hear Walt when he speaks?
Are you all set now?
Can you hear Walt?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Walt.
I looked at 52 Guernsey Road. I looked at the assessments for mostly houses on Guernsey Road. I looked at 36 Guernsey, 34 Guernsey, 50 Guernsey, 52 Guernsey, and 58 Guernsey. 30 Guernsey Road is assessed 156. 34 Guernsey Road is 140. 50 Guernsey Road is 157. 42 Guernsey Road is 147, and 58 Guernsey Road is 138. Your assessment is 153. They all have roughly an acre and a quarter of land. They're in the same neighborhood, so their land values run from 38,500 to 40,000 to 43,000. Yours is assessed 40,100. We value property by neighborhood, and we develop what we call a primary lot value. That's where the consistency comes from. Excess land is considered residual. So there's very little value put on that. So that seemed like a pretty close-knit group of numbers for comparable properties, all right on your street.
But they're not comparable. They're not comparable.
They were all built in the 70s, and they're all 2,000 square feet. Your house is 1,948.
Well, if you drove by recently, you would see that most of them have serious improvements and updates and, but, you know, I'm also a former real estate agent, and this, you know, getting a comp, you don't just go to a street.
Well, isn't a comp close to the subject a better comp than one that's 2 or 3 miles away? And
Right, but this is in the vicinity, it's the same neighborhood code.
Mr. Black's house,
Mate,
Mr. Black's house, one of your comps is.
right,
is
it says the
one land.
neighborhood code is 24104.
Yeah, same neighborhood. Is there any railroad tracks next to his house?
I don't know, but we hear the trains at our house, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, there is, where his house is, there's several trains, several tracks run through that area.
Right, and it comes at the end of Garden Road, because we hear it every night.
That's why the assessments on your street, those houses are basically all very similar. They all have same style, they're all colonials, they're all average construction. They're the same square footage, they all have the same type of garage. And actually, does your house have a full basement?
Yes, I did put that as a comp.
Yeah. Because the 34 and 36 Carnegie Road only have partial basements.
Do you have a formula? I mean, is there a formula that you use?
Comparable properties.
So you strictly use what's on the same street? Is that what you're telling me?
In most cases, we look at the street
So,
first, and then we go by the neighborhood.
Right, but these are in the neighborhood. I'm still not understanding how this house that's 2005, significantly newer.
It's actually not in as good a neighborhood as yours.
I can't agree with. Cannot
It's
agree
okay,
with that.
you don't have to agree.
At $6 square foot per.
And let me see, his assessment is 192 with a full market value of close to 400,000. There's a big difference between
Right, but
his
his
value
assessment
and yours values.
but his property taxes aren't reflected.
You can't go by property taxes. He may have exemptions that reduce his taxes. You can't look at taxes, you have to look at value. His fair market value is basically 380,000, yours is 300,000. 80,000 is quite a big difference.
Well, given the condition of this house being original and dated, it's gonna, you know, needing a new roof and all of this stuff and windows and et cetera. I can't believe that the market value would be close to 300,000.
It might be if you put the investment into the property.
But it still doesn't explain that these older properties are getting assessed, regardless of where it is in Clifton Park, significantly more than a brand new, you know, fairly new property, 2005, off the age.
Are you currently living in this house, or what's the,
My elderly mom lives in this home.
okay? Have you looked into selling it and what you might ask for it at some point?
When my dad died, you can see the transfer. The lawyers came up with 4 years ago. I think it was like at 150 something. You have those records there as well. They had to do the market value for the estate.
Okay.
So, and obviously now we're, I understand things went up, but now things are crashing. Is the other serious issue.
Right, we're assessing value as of last
Right, so
July.
I can only go by what you're assessing these other properties that are significantly newer, significantly more square feet, more bathrooms, doesn't seem fair.
It seemed like Mr. Speed listed a whole series of houses that were similar, same year built, same size. I mean, they may be in better condition because the owners have invested money into the property to maintain it. Maybe if your mom wants to invest in the property, you know, or has deferred, that may be a factor too. Why it appears like it's less valuable, but in fact, with the
So if
investment.
you drive down Garnsey Road, then if what you're saying, you know, if you just, you would have been raising everybody else's assessment way above ours, because half the houses have additions that they didn't have last year or the year before, you know, totally remodeled, or a couple built brand new, but obviously totally different, you know, contemporaries, branches, split levels, barns, which is, you know.
Well, those all would have been worked into the assessed values of those properties. And you're saying that they're still less than your mom's.
So I don't have the houses that you mentioned in my mind, because I don't have the numbers memorized. But the homes, immediately next are much larger with square footage, and the house across the street is a, you know, 3,000 square foot contemporary.
Well, that's not comparable here.
No, that's what I'm saying, but that, you're telling me, that's what I'm going from what you have, what came out when I pulled the comps and did a query with the exact specs from your own computer system.
Did I miss, you listed about 5 or 6 houses on that street that were, it sounded as though they were comparable, size and age and quality. And I guess I'm confused why Walter has all these comparables, but that you didn't. Why are you telling? I'm just curious. I mean, did you and Walter sit down to come to an agreement, or?
I mean, I'm really not asking for that much of a reduction.
The concern, one of our concerns is that we can lower assessments, but we can't raise them. So as you say, the windows might need to be replaced, and that would lower the value of the house. But when those windows are fixed, we can't raise it back up. So to
No,
be
you can
fit,
make these adjustments to this person, Mr. Black, who's under assessed.
we would love to raise Mr. Black's assessment, but we're not allowed to do that.
That's not my fault, that's why I filed this grievance.
I understand.
My mother's been, and, you know, given their age, they've been in this house since 1978, she's never once, they didn't know that they were overpaying. Okay, now since my dad died, it's a hardship now to pay these taxes
Well,
on top of it. So when I looked into it, oh wow, these really are out of whack.
so the assessment isn't what you pay in taxes. And, you know, the assessment may or may not be correct. We'll look at the comparables that Walter presented, we'll look at the comparables you presented. As far as the tax bill that you get, the best way to react to that would be using the STAR and the enhanced STAR and the various.
That doesn't help because it's still based on your assessment.
Based on your income.
It's still based on your assessment.
The bottom line is it's based on your assessments, but you would have if you're getting enhanced STAR, you're saving considerably more than you're gonna save by lowering your.
But so is everybody across the town. So, you know, so is every elderly person. That has nothing to do with it. It's about the assessment.
Well, what we're gonna do, I think we should move on to the land and we'll review this and we'll go over this to make a decision and let you know. But let's talk about the land right now.
Okay, so the land is, you know, it's really, okay, I did the comps because there's nothing similar other than the Preto farm. And I guess I didn't know if we're misclassified. Because my parents are adjacent to, this land is adjacent to the Preto farm. You're familiar with the Preto farm?
Yes.
Okay. So where this land is, it's not a barn, but it's a large shed that my parents used for a chicken coop and, growing some corn or, growing some things and having chickens. So it's really a large shed. But I don't know if it's misclassified because obviously the taxes are really high. But the comps, the only closest comp that came up was this Donald Borges, a 19 acres with improvement, with a garage that looks like a full-blown, large garage with windows and all this stuff. And his assessment for 19 acres is only at $52,000, where ours is at $65,000 for 5 acres.
Can I just read off some numbers from your paperwork so everyone here is
Okay.
aware? We're talking about 5.7 acres. It is currently assessed at, I'm not sure if it's 65,000 or in the 61.9, but in the mid 60s, low 60s is the assessment with a full market value of $127,451. So $127,000 for 5.7 acres. You're asking for a reduction to an assessment of 11,400? Is that right?
No, 14,951 based on, again, I did the calculations because this comp, the only comp that came up as a comparable with, an improvement like a large shed on the property was Donald Borges on 20 acres. And here we're getting charged $11,000 an acre, and Mr. Borges, $2,500 an acre.
Okay, can we hold on one second? I just want to make sure I understand the paperwork. On the
Okay.
first page, you say the property owner's estimate of market value is 65,000. So you think the property is worth 65,000 instead of the 127,000. Is that
As
true?
far as market value,
Yeah, fair market value.
yes.
Okay, so 65,000, but my problem is when I look at the part 3 grounds for complaint, the complainant believes the assessment should be reduced to, it looks like 11,403.50. That math doesn't quite work, so I just want to
Oh,
make sure.
no,
we're
no,
following the paperwork.
that number that you're looking at is how much, I was doing the comparison. That's how much we're being taxed, 11 per acre. You look under it, it's per acre. We're being assessed 11,000 per acre compared to Mr. Borges is being assessed only $2,600 per acre.
Okay, on the comparison sheet, you have that. On the actual form,
Oh, I miswrote it?
page 3, yeah, so let me just get that number right. So you're saying it should be an assessment of 11,403 per acre?
No, if we have 5.7 acres and Mr. Burgess is getting charged $2,600 per acre, then our assessment should be about 14,951.
All right, so I'm sorry, can you give me that number again? 14,000?
14,951.
14,951, meaning 5.7 acres times the, same rate Mr. Borges is getting assessed, $2,623.92 per acre.
Okay, well, let's leave Mr. Borges, let's leave Mr. Borges out of it for a second. I just gotta get the paperwork right so we can consider it.
I'm only using his name, so I don't have the property.
I know, I'm good. So 14,951 is what you think your assessment should be.
Right.
So if I divide that by 0.51, I get $29,315. So are you saying that you believe the value of the full 5.7 acres, the full market value of the 5.7 acres is $29,315?
Yeah, I guess that would be the right calculation.
So if somebody offered you $30,000 for that 5.7 acres right now, you take it?
In this environment, with everything crashing, probably. It's not for sale at the moment, but
Is it buildable and accessible? I mean, is it, there's a road going to it
it's a
and?
Keyhole property, it's behind someone's property, and it's next to the Prettle Farm, which just brings me to the Prettle Farm. They're listed, their land assessment is at, for 47 acres is at 24,000. But so that's why I didn't know if we're, are we not benefiting from a property class of 113 that we might benefit from, or should be classified as, because
So your property class is 312 right now? Is that?
it's 312, right, which is how I came up with Mr. Borges as the only comp in town. Because it has the improvement of a shed, garage. And then the Prettle Farm, which is adjacent to our shed, they're classified as 113 cattle farm or ag. So I'm not sure if that's why their assessment is only 24,000. And full market value, for 47 acres, 199. That's 47. But they've got, but not only do they help, they've got serious, they've got a barn, they've got a mobile home. They've got serious improvements on that property.
Okay, so.
Sheds, they're running a business. So there's a huge discrepancy there in the land value.
So
For vacant
it's with, is it?
sheds.
All right, so that's the difference between the land assessment and the total assessment. The total assessment is $3,100. Is the value, is that right, Walter?
Say again?
The land assessment on this sheet right here is 61,009, and the total assessed value is 65,000.
Right.
So does that mean that the value of the small barn and chicken coop is $3,100?
Yes,
So the buildings are only worth $3,100.
yes.
The land itself, if the classification is different, does that change the rate? Would that change the value of the land? She's saying it could be inappropriate because she's at this 312 class. The 312 is just improved vacant
Yeah,
land.
that's vacant land with improvement. The Prettle Farm is an actual working farm.
Yes.
It has a conservation easement.
Okay,
So their land has already been basically encumbered by signing away their development rights for 25 years. So they're not really comparable.
okay.
This is a building lot. This is an approved Keyhole building lot.
So this you could sell to a developer and build a
Yes.
house on.
Yes.
Prettle has agreed to not sell it for 25 years in exchange for reducing the value.
Yes.
Because
Looks like flat and don't burn.
Which
Is that what
one?
that classification means? Because we're literally adjacent. This where we have the shed and the chickens, literally adjacent to the Prettles.
Right.
Yes, you're adjacent, but you don't use it for the same thing.
Well,
if you want to agree to not develop it for 25 years, you can seek a reduced rate classification.
okay, so that's what that means.
Right, yes.
Okay, so then it brings me back to, the only comp that I came up with, which still is,
So that's
Right.
Mr. Borges, who owns 20 acres, and his assessment is still less than yours. We don't know the condition of that land.
no, but you can see the improved garage. Looks like it's got mature trees. 20 acres is a huge difference.
True. So,
Is his for sale?
What is Borges property of interest?
I just did a comp against your assessments. I don't think it's for sale.
I don't have any addresses. And give you the tax ID number.
Yeah.
You want to go to the IMAID site?
Well, I think what we should do is we can sit down and review this,
We need Walter's opinion on it.
all these papers, and we'll get Walter's input on it, and, make a decision from there, and get back to you in the first week in June. We'll drop you a note, let you know our decision.
Walter weigh in.
Walter's gonna weigh in.
Oh, Walter, sure. Walter, you're weighing in on the property right now. Go ahead, Walter. A lot.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Borges property, it's on Ray Road, 44 Ray Road. I would have to look at that again. Their estimated full market value is 102,000. I'm not sure if there's some wetlands on that property or not.
Most of our land is wetlands. Most of where this house is, it's half of it's wetlands.
Yeah, I would assume that probably some property in the back on your lot is wet.
Right, so majority of the is wet.
Right. But it's also been subdivided into a building lot. So I assume when you went through that process, you realized that it could be built on, so somebody could buy that lot and build a house without going through anything other than getting a building permit.
Well, it seems like Mr. Borges has a pretty big garage. So,
He has a barn. It's actually a barn.
right, so obviously buildable.
Yeah, oh yeah, his is buildable, I believe, without knowing if there's a conservation easement on it or what exactly is going on with it.
So he gets the benefit of an extra 15 acres,
Yeah, you're not getting any benefit.
13,000 less, and
I actually might take a look at that next year and raise his up. So he may not be getting a benefit. You have
well, this
any,
is what he's been paying at my expense.
well, it's at the whole town's expense. If you wanna look at it that way, but
This is not a fair calculation.
have you looked at the price of vacant land? Do you have any sales of vacant land?
Do you guys have to use a formula?
No, we go by sales,
Right.
market
This is
sales.
supposed to be, I'm finding that we have been assessed considerably more than similar property.
Well, you haven't found any similar
Yes.
properties yet.
This is a similar property,
It's a property that is
15,000,
somewhat similar.
15 more acres. This is a gross.
Which may have restrictions on it as well. Just like the Criddle Farm, not a comparable property because they have a conservation easement on it. So it can't be developed. There's a lot of properties that have that situation.
Donald Borges doesn't have he can't, so how is he allowed to build a barn in this garage?
It's just a barn. It's not a garage.
Well, it looks like a garage, it looks like a garage door.
Which it could be, and that's why I would look at it. Have you looked at any market sales for vacant land in your neighborhood or in your area?
Why would I need to do that if I'm using your own data? I'm using the assessments that you've placed on every property, that's your job.
Right,
Like,
but you're only
here.
looking at one. I'm looking at 15,000.
Well, how did you miss not lowering our assessment the last time you looked at it?
I haven't actually looked at yours.
Okay,
I
exactly.
will look at it, but I haven't looked at it recently.
Which is why I filed this complaint, because I've been going through the comparables on your own computer database.
Yeah, that's the county's database.
Well, somebody said those numbers in there.
Yep, they came from us.
We're happy to look at it and we'll take it all into account.
Please do, it's very upsetting, and, my mother is struggling to pay her taxes. She's been a faithful taxpayer, but, since my dad died, it's obviously harder, and then when I come across these huge discrepancies, it's very disturbing. A person that, wherever they are in the town, if your computer system says that this is a comp, then I have to believe that you believe it's a comp. Otherwise, your computer system would not hold this up as a comp.
Well, everything's comparable to some degree, just some things are more comparable than others.
What counts did you come up with for the open land, 5.7 acres? Anything?
I have a sale,
Done site class, classification, neighborhood code, school district. That's all you can put in there.
yeah, we're not talking about the
An
computer system.
improvement, with an improvement.
Yeah, we're not talking about the computer system that you're looking at. That's developed by the county. It's okay to use it.
But
We also,
obviously you did the assessment for Mr. Borges' property.
well, actually, it was done in 1996. So I just looked at current land sales in your
So,
neighborhood to see what the market value was.
1996, that's even worse to know.
Well, what happens is if nobody's gonna make a change and an adjustment unless someone makes a complaint or an inquiry on it.
Right,
It'll
okay,
remain the same.
well, I hope,
And what will happen is, since you've made the inquiry, we are gonna take a look at it. And if we can make an adjustment, we will, but we can never raise it. And if we can lower it, if it's justified, we will do that. If it isn't, we'll notify you either way what's going to happen on that. But
is there,
the only thing we can do right now is to review it, to take a look at the properties and review your complaint and see what's justified on the end of that.
okay, am I able to send you more documentation that you're asking for then?
No,
Oh, yeah, she can. She can send more documentation and we'll review it when we meet again.
Because you're asking for specifically sales, which I don't know how that helps, in the sense that,
She can send more information? Nope. Then we can request more.
no, we can't, there's nothing, we have to go with what's been submitted already because,
right, but I mean, obviously, I'm going by, I mean, everyone in town relies on what the meaning of a fair assessment is, and when you go into the database and you see similar properties with more square footage or more acreage being assessed less, no one can say that that's fair.
and then if they feel that it's unfair, they have the right to
Right.
grieve it, as you're doing right now. And
Thank
that's
you.
where we stand right now. So what we're gonna do is review it, and we can get back to you, get it back to you by letter. And we'll try to do the best we can.
Okay,
That's all we can do on that. So,
all right.
do you have any other questions?
No, is there another appeal process after this, or,
It's outlined in the letter, that would be in the letter, that if you're not satisfied with the appeal, there should be some, I think, I don't have the letter with me, but,
okay,
all right?
okay, yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it, have a good night.
Oh, thank you too. Good night.
Oh.